So they say the Khaali Dosae is the dosa equivalent of an idli.
Nothing but idli.
Well, we are ascending the stairs to the dining area here at LAKSHMI Tiffin room. I think in a manner akin to ascending the stairway to heaven, but this is a Khaali Dosae heaven here in Chitradurga. I love the fluffy texture of the dosa and also the fact that it's toasted completely on one side and you also have bits of the toastiness on the other side of the dosa. It's got the perfect round shape and it has also swelled considerably in size as it has drunk that sugar syrup. Khaali Dosae. Khaali Dosae andre ಏನು ತುಪ್ಪ ಗಿಪ್ಪ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ.
ತುಪ್ಪ ಪಲ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ. ಪಲ್ಯ ತುಪ್ಪ ಏನು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ.
Khaali Dosae ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. Khaali Dosae ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಸಾಲೆ ಸೂಪರ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗದು ಶ್ರೀ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಟಿಫಿನ್ ರೂಮ್.
ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ.
ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡದು. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೆಸರೇನು?
ಶ್ರೇಯಾಂಕ್.
ಶ್ರೇಯಾಂಕ್. ರಾಧಾಕೃಷ್ಣ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಸರ್? ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ನರಸಿಂಹಮೂರ್ತಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. Well, we are here in Chitradurga town. And we are heading to an eatery that's been around for, I'm told, over half a century. ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು? 60 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ, 60 years ಇಂದ. 70 years. Fantastic. Well, the entire street is speaking for Sri Lakshmi Tiffin Room. Definitely have to check it out. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Well, it's nice that you come to even a place like Chitradurga. People watch the show and they recognize you and they guide you to the dishes to have, because these are the dishes that they're proud of in their town. Of course, there's some road work happening here, so it's a bit of a trek from where we parked the car. But I'm sure there's a good dosa that's waiting for us at the end of this walk. Sri Lakshmi Bhavan Tiffin Room. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್, ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು kripal ಅಮನ್ನ. ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರೇನು?
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಮಹಾಬಲ.
ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ?
ನಮ್ಮ ಫಾದರ್ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ 1954. 68 years ಆಯಿತು. ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಫಾದರ್ ಹೆಸರೇನು ಸರ್? ಎಚ್ ಪದ್ಮನಾಭರಾವ್.
ಅವರು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇದು ಸೇಮ್ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಮುಂಚೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ 100 meters ಮುಂದೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಲ್ಲೇ 50 years ಕಳೆದ್ವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು 20 years ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬಂತು.
ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ 68 years running. ಸೊ ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸಾ, ಮಸಾಲೆ ದೋಸಾ. ಇವಾಗ ಸದ್ಯ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಐಟಮ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೇನ? ಇವಾಗಿನ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಅದು ಇವಾಗ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೂ 1 hour ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಬೇಕು 1 hour ಮೇಲೂ.
ನಾನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದಾರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲೀವ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಗುಲಾಬ್ ಜಾಮೂನ್. ಸರ್, ನಿಮ್ದು ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್? ಏನು ಅಷ್ಟು
ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ?
ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಸರ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್?
ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಾ?
ಹೋಗಿ.
ಓಕೆ. ದೋಸೆ ಹಂಚಿದು ಶಬ್ದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ದೋಸೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್ ನೀವು?
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿ 40 ವರ್ಷ.
40 ವರ್ಷ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರೇನು ಸರ್? ನೀವು ದೋಸೆ ಮಾಸ್ತರಾ? ದೋಸೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಇದು ಏನು ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆಗೆಯಾ?
ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಮಸಾಲೆ
ಸೇಮ್ ಇಟ್ಟು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಪಲ್ಯ. ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ? ಕುಂದಾಪುರ. ನಂದು ತಾಯಿ ಮನೆ ಕುಂದಾಪುರ. ನಾವು ಸೌತ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ರಾಯಿಂದ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ 40 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು.
40 ವರ್ಷ.
Fantastic. I think the contribution of those in South Canada to the culinary world, well, I'm not going to talk too much about it because you know that I'm a little biased. So sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್?
ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಮೊದಲಿಂದನೂ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಮೈಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೇದೇ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲ?
ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಮಸಾಲೆ ದೋಸೆಗೆ ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಯಿಲ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ.
ಇದನ್ನ ಮಗು ತಿನ್ಬೋದು.
ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ಸರ್ ನೀವು
ಮುರುಳಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್. ಮಗು ತಿನ್ಬೋದು, ಬಾಣಂತಿ ತಿನ್ಬೋದು.
So they say the Khaali Dosae is the dosa equivalent of an idli.
Nothing but idli.
Nothing but idli, except for the batter being steamed, the batter is fried on the hanchu. Wonderful. But ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಮ್ ನಮ್ದು ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ, ಕುಸುಬ್ಲಕ್ಕಿ,
ಅದು ಜಯ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಸರ್, ಜಯ ಹಳೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಅವಲಕ್ಕಿ,
ಮೈದಾ ಸರ್,
ಮೈದಾ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ,
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾಕಿ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಸಬ್ಬಕ್ಕಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಉದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ರೈಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು? 1:2, 1:4
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 15 kg ಐಟಮ್ಸಿಗೆ ದೋಸೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಒಂದು 400 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್.
400 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ
ಅಷ್ಟೇ. 4 kg ಮೈದಾ,
3 kg ಮೈದಾ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಬ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಸುಮಾರು ಲೈಟ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ದಟ್ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಟರ್. ಚಿಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತೆಂಗಿನಕಾಯಿ. ಹಂಚಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಆಯಿಲ್ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ ಇವರೆಗೆ?
ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದು ನೀವು ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕುವಾಗ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಅವರು ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿಯಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಿಟ್ಟು
ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಚಿಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲ,
ಚಿಕ್ಕದು
ಒಂದೇ ಕಮ್ಮಿ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನೀವು?
ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
2 ಕಪ್ ಹಾಕಿ 1 ಕಪ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ.
ಇದು ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಸೋಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? 1.5 ಗಂಟೆ ಸೋಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ರುಬ್ತೀರಾ? ಈಗಲೇ ಫ್ರೈ ಆದದ? ಈಗ ಅದು ಪಾಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಶುಗರ್ ಸಿರಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Okay, okay, okay. So basically, as it drinks the sugar syrup, it also swells in its size. And because that gulab jamun has just been made and just been dropped into that sugar syrup, it hasn't soaked up to that full potential here. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? That is why he is boiling that jamun in a bit of that sugar syrup, encouraging that sugar syrup to find its way into that jamun. I think every table has a Khaali Dosae. I think it's the most popular here. Khaali Dosae ekdam popular ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Fantastic.
ರೋಡ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ರಶ್ ಇರೋದು.
Okay, because of the road. Well, we are ascending the stairs to the dining area here at LAKSHMI Tiffin Room. I think in a manner akin to ascending the stairway to heaven, but this is a Khaali Dosae heaven here in Chitradurga.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಸರ್.
First jamun.
ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಇದು ದೋಸೆ, ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ. ಘೀ ವಿತ್ ಆಲೂ ಪಲ್ಯ.
Separate. Let's do that.
You put.
Okay, fine. Matlab dosa khali irutte.
ಖಾಲಿ.
Fantastic. So he's recommended that I make a beginning with the gulab jamun. I'm not going to say no to that. Well, the gulab jamun is already here, but I must tell you that I have rushed them with the gulab jamun because the gulab jamun was just made, and they said it takes some time. It will take at least an hour, hour and a half for it to soak completely. And because I'm traveling again from here, they've done their best to toast that gulab jamun in some hot syrup. I must commend them on their initiative, but I don't know if it's going to be similar to a gulab jamun that I would taste after an hour, hour and a half of soaking. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಒಳಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. I don't think I should rush that gulab jamun. You know, when it comes to traditional preparations, you have to wait. You have to wait for when the dish is ready. So a gulab jamun has to soak in that syrup gently for about an hour or so. So I think this gulab jamun certainly needs to do a bit more soaking.
Just a question. It takes 1 hour time.
So we will maybe look at the gulab jamun before we leave. Adra munche dosa taste madana. Khaali Dosae. Khaali Dosae with extra tuppa and palya. Well, I'm quite eager to taste this dosa because after all, this is a dosa that has enjoyed a stellar reputation for the last 68 years. So traditionally, when you ask for the Khaali Dosae, this is what you get. You get the dosa and the chutney. But out here, they've decided that I should also taste a bit of the palya and a tiny little bottle of tuppa along with my Khaali Dosae. But I'm going to make a beginning just with the dosa by itself. I love the fluffy texture of the dosa and also the fact that it's toasted completely on one side and you also have bits of the toastiness on the other side of the dosa. This is a dosa that feels rather Spartan. Although it's rather light and airy, it's a dosa that feels rather substantial to the bite. It's also a dosa that feels very wholesome. You have a bit of that toastiness that you taste. There's a bit of tartness and there's also a bit of a stretchiness that perhaps comes from the composition of the batter. So the batter is mostly the rice, a little bit of the urad dal, and there's also about 20% flour that goes in. I think that's what explains the slight stretchy character of the dosa. Let's taste it now with that chutney. You can taste the grainy texture of the urugadle and the punch of the green chili. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? And then there's also a seasoning of the mustard that you can see in that chutney. I think that chutney also helps moisten that dosa. The chutney helps moisten the dosa and also counter against some of the stickiness, some of the stretchiness of that dosa. Simple dosa chutney by itself is rather flavorful. I also like that slight edge of toastiness that you get in that dosa. And because this dosa has about 20% flour and as they roast that batter, I think that flour gets roasted and that lends it its very unique sort of flavor. There's also a bit of the kai that I taste somewhere in that chutney in there. Next we're going to take Mr. Murali's advice and smear some of that tuppa all over that Khaali Dosae. Iga Khaali illa idu dosa. Iga tuppa ide. Smear that nicely and taste it. Quite a stark contrast to the original Spartan nature and texture of the dosa. This one is glistening with all that tuppa. Tuppa andre swarga. The flavor of that tuppa, I think like Mr. Murali said, especially if you are used to a dosa that's luxurious, a dosa that's slightly decadent, a dosa that's slightly indulgent, I think this Khaali Dosae with its very airy texture calls greedily for the company of that tuppa, because that tuppa very quickly finds its way into the pores of that dosa. And you want to make sure that you savor that dosa rather quickly before you lose that tuppa to the tatte, because that would be a travesty. Delicious. Tuppa ottige bere level. I think next let's taste the dosa with some of the palya. Palya solpa gatti palya. There's plenty that's going on in the palya. I can see some lentils in there, some onions, some saswe. There's also a bit of the sweetness that I taste. So see potato in the solpa sakre kuda haktira. Solpa sakre haktira. Bella haktira palya ge.
Tasty.
I could taste a bit of the sweetness. So Mr. Murli ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾವು ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಕ್ತೇವೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಪಲ್ಯ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಇದೆ, ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೇಳೆ ಇದೆ, ಕಡಲೆ ಬೇಳೆ ಇದೆ, ಸಾಸಿವೆಯಿಂದ ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪಲ್ಯ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಿ, ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪಲ್ಯ ವೆರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆನಿಯನ್ and also a hint of sweetness, an edge of sweetness that comes from the bella, from the jaggery. As for me, I'm quite happy tasting that dosa with that tuppa. All that tuppa. That tuppa is a perfect partner to that dosa. I think next we will introduce this duo of the dosa with the tuppa to the chutney. Just when you thought that a tuppa was taking over your palate, that spicy chutney, that spicy urugadle chutney with a hint of coconut makes its presence felt. I found that palya a little sweet by itself, but I think it would make for a great combination with that spicy chutney.
Whenever I visit my parents here, I come
to come to this place to have the Khaali Dosae with the tuppa and the palya. Fantastic. Although palya is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ sweetness ಇದಲ್ಲ, slight sweetness.
And from the day one, you don't taste change.
Taste change ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. Wonderful. You know, I think that's the mark of a place that has the ability to stand the test of time. I think people go back for the dish because the dish, of course, the taste of the dish hasn't changed, and I think it also takes them back to a happier time with your dad. So it probably takes you back to memories of that. Food has the potential, good food has the potential to transport us to some happy times, and I think that's what people look to in this Khaali Dosae that is served at Lakshmi Tiffin Room. I think dishes like these have the magical ability to transport us back to some happy, comforting times, and that is something we all need in the times that we live in today. Well, after that Khaali Dosae, I took a bit of a break because I wanted to wait for that gulab jamun to be served optimally. So it's been an hour since we've arrived here. I'm hoping that the gulab jamun is now ready. They serve a sambar also here.
Sambar is very good, sir.
Yeah? Hey, I didn't taste the sambar. Sir, ನನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಹಾಂ, ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ದೋಸೆ ತಿಂತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಕೊಡಿ ಒಂದು ಕಟೋರಿ ಸಾಂಬಾರು ಕೊಡಿ. ಬರೀ ಸಾಂಬಾರು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಸಾಂಬಾರು ಕೂಡ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್. ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಬಂತು ರೀ. ಸರಿ ಕೊಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ. I don't think I've ever had a situation wherein I have asked for a sambar because I saw a neighboring table relishing the sambar, and now that I've got a sambar, they say, why don't you have an idli as well? Aitala idli sambar. Oh, so my idli is also here. This is a sambar where I'm tasting more the flavor of the spices of the masala, not so much the lentils, and I can definitely feel a bit of that chili spice hit the back of my throat. We have an idli here. Makes sense to soak it in that sambar. The idli is quite soft, quite fragile. I think the sambar by itself was all right, but I think it makes for a terrific pairing with that idli. The idli quite readily absorbs that sambar. Place it in your mouth, then it quite simply dissolves away. By itself the sambar is fine, but I think because of the fact that you can taste some of that masala, some of the spices in that, it calls for the idli, because that idli tones down the aggression of some of those spices. So if you like your idli, then I think this idli sambar too would make for a good order when you find yourself at Sri Lakshmi Tiffin Room in Chitradurga. This time also with some chutney. That's a good idli sambar chutney. Sir, namdu gulab jamun barta ide illa? ನಾನು ಉತ್ಸುಕ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಗುಲಾಬ್ ಜಾಮೂನಿಗೆ. ಸೋಕ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. So basically they're saying the first time we hurried it for you and it didn't quite work. Now you wait if you want to taste the gulab jamun. And that's what we're doing. But thankfully, because we waited for the gulab jamun, I could taste also that idli sambar, which certainly hit the spot. Gulab jamun bantu. Fantastic. Now that gulab jamun has swelled to the right size. It's got the perfect round shape and it has also swelled considerably in size as it has drunk that sugar syrup. That gulab jamun is a little bouncy even as I cut into it. I think it still needs about 30 minutes or so more for it to soak in completely. But this is a gulab jamun that certainly stands ground in line with its much recommended status. Quite nice. As that gulab jamun will soak in that syrup, all these empty pockets that you see will be filled with the sugary goodness of that syrup. Right now, I can sense that it still needs to soak in that syrup a bit longer. One coffee, sakre kammi. Sakre baala kammi.
Baala kammi sakre coffee.
Oh, you're also having the gulab jamun.
And now you are tempting us to have a coffee as well.
Thank you, sir. Finally wrap things here at Sri Lakshmi Tiffin Room. I asked for a little less sugar in my coffee because I like to taste a bit of the bitterness that coffee brings naturally. So if you find yourself in Chitradurga, definitely visit Sri Lakshmi Tiffin Room. I've enjoyed that Khaali Dosae by itself and also in the lush company of the tuppa. And that idli that I tasted quite by chance because I wanted something to soak into the sambar was rather enjoyable too. And that gulab jamun, I think had I allowed it to soak for an hour or so more, would have been the sort that would have sent me home on a deliciously sweet note. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gourmet on the Road. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, happy drinking and eating. Sorry, happy eating and drinking. Sir, owner may tell you.
No. It is my policy. No.
I'm going to leave it here.
Very sorry. You please come next time, I will take.
No, sir.
No. Sorry, very sorry.
One second. Mr. Murli, wherever
What you say, I cannot take that amount.
You have to take this money. I've kept it there.
No,
Thank you.
Please.
Doesn't work like that, Mr. Murli. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating.